Well, the last year has been a pretty chaotic one for Ariana. Since the Ethan Slater scandal surfaced last summer, it seems like she hasn't been able to shake the wave of criticism that followed it. And now, with the release of her latest album, Eternal Sunshine, where she subtly addresses the controversy, I want to explore the question of whether her reputation has recovered. A lot has changed in the last few months, including the repeated claim from Ariana stans that Page Six admitted to lying about the whole thing and retracted their claims about the entire Ethan saga. I haven't really seen anyone break that specific aspect of this down, but I feel like it needs to be done because I see it everywhere, and it's just not quite true. And worse, I don't think most people repeating it even know that. In the age of social media, there is always some new scandal or drama for people to move on to. People move on quickly, and it's rare that a controversy lasts. Obviously, this scandal has remained a stain on Ariana's image for almost a year, and even though the discourse around her recently has been more about her new album, that stain still hasn't gone away. However, it does seem like people's attitude to her varies wildly depending on which comment section you're in. Her seventh album, Eternal Sunshine, continually blurs the line between fact and fiction, but it does contain clear references to this controversial period of her career, always in a soft and understated way, never quite reaching a reputation-level fierce takedown of her critics. And that's not what the album is meant to be. It's not how Ariana wants to tackle this controversy. But, in my opinion, her obvious desire to avoid broaching this subject directly might tell us something. Ariana has never been one to shy away from denying false rumors or made-up stories in the media. In late 2019, she personally denied the constant allegations of plastic surgery against her. When she began dating Pete Davidson shortly after breaking up with Mac Miller, she denied the rumors that she had cheated with Pete. She denied the diva allegations and the infamous rumor of her demanding to be carried around, which she was repeatedly accused of early in her music career. She denied the allegation that Stuck With You was fraudulently bumped to #1 in the charts with inflated sales. All of this, and yet, what is almost certainly the most damaging accusation of her entire career, and she not only initially offered no response to it, but now, months later, continually avoids straight-up denying it. In her Zach Sang interview earlier this month, she was prompted to speak about the Ethan Slater scandal and responded, quote,
I feel like we don't need to go into any specifics, but of course there's like an insatiable frustration, inexplicable, hellish feeling with watching people misunderstand the people you love and you and anything.
She is prompted again by Zach, who asks her if there's any information about the situation she wishes people knew that would help them see that she's not in the wrong. She answers with one word,
plenty,
and no further elaboration is given. Keep in mind that Zach Sang is a longtime friend of Ariana's, and this was a very softball interview with easy and gently worded questions. If she wanted to clear her name, this was the perfect venue to do so, but still she chose not to defend herself. The way she chose to respond was through her music. Ariana described Eternal Sunshine as beginning with a question and ending with an answer, the question being whether her and her now ex-husband Dalton should stay together. And from the viewpoint of music alone, this is truly an exceptional album, and arguably her best ever. It's sonically cohesive while also exploring diverse genres. It tells a coherent story with great sequencing and makes an excellent concept album, which is rare in mainstream pop. I wouldn't be surprised if this album becomes highly awarded, and she would absolutely deserve it. Thankfully, Eternal Sunshine is not an overt love letter to Ethan, but more of a stream of consciousness of Ariana exploring her feelings during the breakdown of her marriage without really touching on the details of it. She made a point in the Zach Sang interview of repeatedly clarifying that the album is a mixture of reality and fantasy, where Ariana is as elusive and reluctant to directly address personal questions as she is in her recent interviews. From a PR point of view, I don't think this album has necessarily helped Ariana, but I also don't think it was really intended to. I think once the initial hype from the album dies down, it will be clear that it hasn't really done anything to alleviate some people's negative feelings about her. There are songs like Yes and The Boy Is Mine which don't play well in the court of public opinion. In these songs, the lyrics almost border on smug, while hidden behind a veil of promoting authenticity, self-love, and self-acceptance. This is particularly evident on the lead single, where she sings, "I'm so done with caring what you think," And why do you care so much whose dick I ride? When this dropped as the lead single, opinions were mixed, with many arguing that she was essentially admitting that the accusations were true, but saying she doesn't really care. And many also pointed out that this confident acceptance of being a villain didn't really match her attitude in interviews, with some noting the contrast of the lyrics "say that with your chest" and her speaking in a soft, gentle, whispering voice, as she dodges the difficult questions in interviews. In both her music and real life, Ariana continually mentions being misunderstood and painted out to be something she's not, but doesn't explain any further than that. My question is, why? Given her history of clarifying fake rumors, it does seem odd that she wouldn't issue a clear response if she was entirely innocent. For example, if the truth is, as some fans have tried to argue, that her and Ethan are both entirely innocent parties, who coincidentally got divorced around the same time, and then began dating only once separated, it would be fairly easy for her to just say that and shut all of this down. But her refusal to do so leads me to believe that the truth is a little bit more complicated. There have been a ton of rumors and mysteries around what actually went down on the set of Wicked, but here's what we know for a fact. In August 2022, Ethan and Lily's son was born. Around this time, Ariana heads to England to begin rehearsals for Wicked, leaving her husband Dalton Gomez back in America. By November 2022, both couples still appear very lovey-dovey, with Ariana posting images of her and Dalton, and Ethan and Lily publicly celebrating their 4th wedding anniversary. On December 7th, Ethan's casting as Bach is announced, and he posts a picture of his and Ariana's feet. 2 days later, Ariana posts Dalton on social media for the last time. In January 2023, Dalton visits Ariana, with insiders claiming it was an attempt to save their struggling marriage. On February 20th, Ariana and Dalton secretly separate, the date known through their divorce papers. In March, the picture of Ethan with his arm around Ariana at dinner is taken after the Oscars. In May, Ariana posts a wedding anniversary post of her and Dalton, heavily implying that they were still together. It's unclear what this was about, considering they listed their official date of separation as February 20th. It's possible that she was just trying to maintain the image that they were still married, but I don't really see why that would be beneficial. And it's also doubtful, since she hadn't posted any images or videos of him in 5 months by this point. I think it's more likely that they were trying again, given that Ariana says they were on and off in eternal sunshine, but that's just an educated guess. While Ari was publicly celebrating her wedding anniversary, Ethan posted a Mother's Day post praising Lily, which was liked by Ariana. In June, Ariana films a video for REM Beauty not wearing her ring and explicitly says she is not getting a divorce.
Just not wearing my ring, it's getting cleaned. I'm not getting a divorce. Before you start, don't.
On July 17th, it is first reported that Ari and Dalton have split. On July 20th, numerous outlets all begin reporting that Ariana has been dating Ethan Slater, and the affair rumors begin. On July 26th, Ethan files for divorce from his wife Lily. On July 27th, Ariana and Ethan are pictured together. The same day, the infamous Page 6 report is published. They said that Lily exclusively spoke with them and told them that Ariana is not a girl's girl, and my family is just collateral damage. Ariana and Ethan both stayed radio silent about these claims, and Ariana didn't respond to the scandal at all until the vague Zach Sang interview and the brief references on Eternal Sunshine. Again, to be clear, at no point has Ariana or Ethan or any close friends or family or anyone on the cast of Wicked explicitly said that Ariana and Ethan were both completely separated when they began dating. So, those are the facts. I think the central detail of this entire thing is the Page 6 article. It was incredibly damning and really the start of Ariana's downwards reputation spiral. Like I said at the beginning, I haven't really seen many people talking about this, but this is a pretty good example of how misinformation and unchecked assumptions easily circulate online, and people just believe something based on a tweet or a screenshot without even checking it out. 6 months after Page 6's explosive piece stating that they had personally spoken to Lily, they released another article about Ariana. This particular article is commonly referred to by Ariana fans as a retraction of their first article, which is not true. The article wasn't even about the scandal specifically, but was about the release of Ariana's latest single at the time. So here is the exact quote they gave in January this year. regardless of what people had to say, there is no hard evidence that Grande did anything to separate Slater from his estranged wife. Although Grande and Slater's new relationship was reported around the same time as their breakups, the actual timeline of their romance is unknown to the public. Furthermore, a person close to the situation told Page Six that Slater and Jay had been broken up for 2 months before he started romancing the Grammy winner. The only hint that something shady went on came from a heartbroken Jay who told Page Six in July 2023 that the former Nickelodeon star was not a girl's girl. So let's break this statement down. The first point, that there is no hard evidence of homewrecking. That is not a retraction. We already knew that. Page Six never made that claim in the first place. Hard evidence would mean there are romantic photos of them during Ethan's marriage, or leaked texts, or camera footage of them together. Even if Lily came out and explicitly said that Ariana broke their marriage up, that still wouldn't count as hard evidence. In fact, this was so clearly not a retraction of anything that they had previously said, that they included it as a minor piece of text in a paragraph in an article about a completely different topic. Second point, an anonymous insider said that Ariana and Ethan were both separated when they started dating. Again, this is not a retraction or any new information. Everybody already knew that someone had given that statement to the media. And thirdly, and most importantly, Page Six repeat their original claim, which was that Lily personally criticized Ariana directly to their journalists. Not only is this not a retraction, but a repeated assertion of the claim. I hope that anyone with an ounce of common sense can understand that Page Six did not offer any retraction, despite the fact that people insist they did. And I think the reason for the hysteria around this is because a viral screenshot went around sharing a cropped version of this paragraph, which implies that Page Six retracted their claims that Lily spoke to them. And this is completely untrue. In fact, what Lily said to Page Six is probably the most damaging piece of this story for Ariana's reputation. And it was the one part that Page Six made a point of repeating. The hysteria also got a little crazy when TMZ, at the same time as this January Page Six article, reported from anonymous sources that Lily told Ethan that she doesn't know where the various media leaks were coming from. However, TMZ themselves clarified this and said that, quote, Lily told Ethan that she did not understand what it meant that she was on the record. So, to clarify, the quotes that Page Six claimed Lily made about Ariana not being a girl's girl, about being blindsided by their relationship, about her family being collateral damage, were genuinely given by Lily to them, but she initially told Ethan that she didn't think they came from her, because she didn't understand that she was on the record and that they could print what she was telling them. So again, Page Six didn't retract. Page Six repeated their original claims, and TMZ backed up that their story was correct. I hope that I've explained this whole situation clearly. It still confuses me that people insist that Page Six retracted the claims when the proof that they did not is so insanely clear. And if the notion of a retraction wasn't provably false already, it should be clear to people that it is because, once again, every single person involved, Ariana, Ethan, Lily, their families, their friends, and the cast of Wicked at no point said anything about Page Six. When publishers are under pressure to retract a statement, that generally entails a press statement, or a correction of earlier publications, or a removal of the original piece, none of which happened. If Page Six had truly printed an outright lie, as Ariana stands claim, it would be blatant defamation and could easily be sued over. Do you honestly think Ariana, the girl who sued Forever 21, wouldn't sue Page Six if this was completely false? Do you honestly think Page Six would leave their original defamatory article up with no correction? Do you think that Page Six would take 6 whole months to issue a retraction, embedded within a random article, coincidentally as Ariana's new single is out? And do you think that Page Six would write about Ariana several times in between the original article and the supposed retraction, as they did, and never mention the so-called defamation? At one end of the spectrum, you've got Ariana stans arguing that this was a panicked attempt by Page Six to avoid being sued. That doesn't make sense because they wouldn't wait 6 months. At the other end, you've got Ariana haters saying that her team paid off Page Six to write more favorably about her, since her new single was out. That also doesn't make sense. If Ariana's team wanted a publicity piece to make this all go away, they also wouldn't wait 6 months. All in all, the obvious conclusion is that there was no retraction at all. This was just a random article written by Page Six, blown completely out of proportion by Ariana stans clinging to anything that makes her seem entirely innocent and victimized, and spread by people on social media who couldn't be bothered to check whether it was true. And hopefully now you know it isn't. Moving forward, it will be interesting to see what the answer is to my initial question. Has Ariana's reputation recovered? I think with the release of Eternal Sunshine, we've seen what many of us expected, which is that people are easily distracted by good music. And honestly, maybe they should be. Ariana spoke in the Zach Sang interview about people not leaving room for nuance when discussing celebrities, and I thought she was completely right. People, especially on social media, are desperate to categorize people into either 100% victim or 100% villain. Everything is black and white, rather than acknowledging that celebrities are normal, flawed human beings. In Ariana's case, her job is making good music, and she's done that. And maybe a world where that's all there is to the story might be better. But that isn't the world we live in. We have seen many talented celebrities' careers decline because people begin to believe that they aren't such a nice person. Based on everything we know, my honest take on the Ethan and Ariana thing is that the timeline is extremely messy, and that's why they have been completely unable to just refute these allegations. It makes sense that her feelings for Ethan began during one of her and Dalton's broken up periods, but that there was some kind of overlap, hence why she was apparently dating Ethan in May, but said she was still married to Dalton after that. As far as Ethan and Lily are concerned, the fact that she says she was blindsided and that he didn't file for divorce until the Ariana story was about to go public indicates to me that there was probably an overlap in his case too. Overall, I'm actually less interested in that story specifically, and more interested in how celebrities navigate controversy and how the general public and culture reacts to it. Despite temporary distraction from this because of Eternal Sunshine, I don't think people's negative impression of Ariana has gone away. There are celebrities who get away with being scandalous and controversial because they're so unapologetic about it. There are celebrities who present themselves as sweet and innocent in a way that people find believable. Ariana tries to straddle the line and do both. I think the reason people had so much heat for Ariana specifically is that throughout her career and her several controversies, she has continually presented herself in a contradictory fashion of both unapologetic and persecuted, both victim and villain. She simultaneously sings about being misunderstood and innocent, and then is cocky and defiant. She has sung repeatedly about cheating or homewrecking, and then asks for a nuanced understanding of her love life. She criticizes the general public for misunderstanding her, but refuses to say what they got wrong. I think the duality of Ariana using the powerful bad girl aesthetic when it's convenient, and then retreating into a more delicate, innocent persona when she is being criticized has become evident to people, with many in the last year pointing out how differently she presents herself. Maybe if she wants to move on from constant criticism of her behavior and accusations of being fake or calculated, she might have to choose which kind of person she wants to be.